In this video today, we'll be adding a base character class. I'll be creating this base character class in C++, and afterwards I'll quickly show it in blueprints. So now I'm just going to hop into our arena map, get everything familiar for what we've done so far. Now we're going to go over and set up the C++ class. So go over to add new C++ class. We're going to set it as a character parent class. Once it's set up, you'll name it to base character class, and then afterward you'll hit create class. I've done it already. This avoids the long compile time when we first start using C++ in this project. So now that I have it opened up, first thing we gotta do is gonna add blueprintable. Blueprintable. This means blueprints can access this class. Now for this project, I'm gonna be laying out comments throughout the code just to make things easier to follow along. So public space. First thing I'm gonna do, make a health property. So make a health property. Next one, make an isDead property. isDead property. isDead will be a boolean. This determines is the character dead, yes or no. Then we're going to add calculate death function. So this function runs isDead and determines if it should be true or false. Now we're going to add a calculate health function. Calculate health function. Then we're going to add editor-centric code for changing properties. So this editor-centric code is helper code that is part of working with the engine. That's out of the way. Right under health property, I'm gonna put in uProperty, all caps. First thing I'm gonna do is blueprint read write. Blueprint read write means blueprints can read from it and write to it. Next one, do edit anywhere. Edit anywhere means other classes can access and change the property if needed. And so we gotta set the category. I titled this base character, so category is going to be base character, and I'm going to set the health to 100. Next, we're going to set up isDead. Oh, whoops! Gotta type in health. There we go. Okay. So now I'm going to set up isDead. Again, uProperty, all in caps. Blueprint read only. Visible anywhere. Just set the category to the same. So blueprint read only means blueprints will only be able to query this data. They'll not be able to write anything to it. Only the code can write to it. Visible anywhere means other classes can see it. And we need to add, what do we need? Oh, bool is dead equal to false. Nice. Now we're now going to move on to the calculate def function. All we're going to write is virtual void calculate dead open close colon then we're going to need to add, one second, we're going to need to add, oh, no, that's it, sorry. Now we'll move on to the calculate health function. First thing we add is u function, all in caps, blueprint callable. Blueprint callable essentially turns this function into a node in the blueprint. New function, I spelled it right, okay. And set the category to base character. Also gotta add virtual void calculate float delta. Calculate health. Apologies, forgot that. And then yeah, that includes that. Just delta here is the change in health. So now we're moving on to the editor centric code for changing properties. With this, what we need to do is add an if and end if, because in the editor, the changes that take place only happens in the editor. Let's go ahead and start with doing that first. If with underscore editor all caps, add end and if cool. Now next thing we have to do is add virtual void post edit change property, and then we'll put in f property changed event ampersand property capital property changed event. Keep pressing E twice. Down below, we're going to override. And that will conclude everything we need for our header. Now we're going to move on, or .h. Now we're going to move on to our .cpp file. You can add everything below. We'll need to add the following to what we just put into our .h file. We need to implement calculate health. We need to implement calculate death, or dead, sorry. Calculate dead. Complete space. Next we gotta implement post edit property. Then we'll start to add in our code. So void a base character, calculate health float delta, open curly braces, then add health plus equals delta this is only going to add to it. So adding the incoming value of delta and storing it, or storing the result in the health value. I'm gonna wrap this part off with calculate dead, open close, semicolon, and that's all we'll need to do after calculate dead. Void a base character, calculate dead, close, curly braces. So if health is less than or equal to 0, is dead is equal to true. Else is dead is equal to false. So essentially, when the character is damaged to the point where their health is 0 or beyond 0, they'll actually be dead. If that's not the case, then they won't be dead. Straightforward. Now we're going to move on to post edit property. We need to do the same thing again with if and end if in the editor, because all these changes only take place when we're in the editor. So we're going to go on and add that in. If and if with underscore editor, all in caps. Cool. Alright, so now we're going to add void a base character, post edit change property, open brackets, f property, change event, percent property changed event, create Q braces, where is dead equal false, health equal to 100. Then I'm gonna write super post edit change property. I already have it listed here. Open bracket property changed event. This is going to take care of any values inputted, and it'll handle those. And then we'll need to queue it off with calculate dead, open close. This is to see if the character was killed. Go over what we added so far. Our health is dead property death function, health function, and editor center code was all set up in our header, or in our .h file. And down in our CPP file, we've just implemented what we've already put into our header down below, just a quick breakthrough. Next, what you have to do after is you have to go and build the solution. First time when you do it, it does take some time. I've already done it already. That's why everything's shown below. And so after you've done that, you'll save. Then we'll head back to Unreal. And the next thing I'm going to show you guys is the blueprints. The blueprint base class. So I'm going to open that up. So you start off in your viewpoint. What you need to do is you need to create two variables and two functions. The two functions I made are calculate dead and calculate health. The two variables I set were isDead as a boolean, just like we did in Visual Studios, and health as a float, as shown in Visual Studios. I also set the category to base character. So with that out of the way, we're gonna hop into calculate dead. And so what you need to do is I brought in health and I brought it in. After I brought it in, you need to bring out a less than equal to float. Less than equal to float. Afterwards, from calculate dead, you need to bring out a branch. Bring out branch, put it in. Once that's in, connect both the less than equal to float and calculate dead to the branch. Afterwards, drag over isDead twice. One gets connected to true, the other gets connected to false. What we're going to do is you want to check isDead, and so that sets up the isDead, if it's true or false, all that stuff. Afterwards, you want to calculate health. First things to do is once you click calculate health, come down to inputs, add an input, name it delta and set it to a float. Next, you want to drag in health. You want to bring up a excuse me. You want to bring up a float, a float plus float value. Float plus float from delta. Connect both nodes to the float. Then we need to drag, drag over, and then you want to get, oh no, I didn't do that, wait, apologies. Then you want to get health, or sorry, set health. Once you've done that, drag calculate health to the set variable, drag from the float to the set variable. Afterwards, you just bring in calculate dead. Once you've done that, that's literally all there is to this. Compile and save. And then afterwards, now that's done. And so that will conclude this video. Thanks for watching.